This is the Crush Crowdfunding Podcast, the #1 place for people who want to launch on Kickstarter and Indiegogo. My name is Nalin, and I invite you to join me for tips, hacks, and insights to get you launched and fully funded. Hey everyone, welcome to another session of the Crush Crowdfunding Podcast. I'm really excited to have you here today and to really talk to you about crowdfunding and how you can absolutely crush your goal on Kickstarter and absolutely crush your goal on Indiegogo. I think it's great that family and friends will support you in what you're doing. I think it's really, really great that they're going to, they've committed to pledge right when you launch on Kickstarter and right when you go live on Indiegogo. But the problem is, most of us, if we were to be honest with ourselves, we want strangers to do that. We want strangers to be the ones to back us and support us in our funding on these crowdfunding platforms. We want people we don't even know at all to support our campaign. That's actually one of the biggest reasons that people go to Kickstarter, that people use a campaign, a platform like Indiegogo, is because they can find and be connected to all these random strangers that would actually really like their idea too and join in on this journey to bring this project to launch just by backing on the crowdfunding platform itself. And really, that's kind of a common question that I get all the time. How do you actually get people who you don't know at all, who are just random strangers on the internet, to give you money and back your project and really win them over? To that, I say there are 4 different reasons why internet strangers will come bumbling through and support your campaign and support your journey to launching this product. The first concept I want to draw your attention to is this marketing concept called social proof. And yeah, I know it might sound like a really fancy word or something that you might not even heard of before. So let's kind of break this down a little bit. Let's just say that you're browsing Indiegogo and you come across this new campaign. It literally just launched and you're kind of looking around, seeing what's happening. You see that it has 0 funding. You see that no one has backed it yet. You see that there's no activity whatsoever on it at all. 0. Zip, none, right? What are some of the things that are going through your head? What are some of the thoughts that you have right now coming to this project, coming to this campaign, and looking through this page and seeing nothing happen at all on the page? Well, that's probably going to vary from person to person, but some of the things are going to be like, why is there no funding on this page at all? Is it one of those scam projects that I read about on the news? Or people might even say, okay, this is kind of interesting, I guess. I only have like 10 minutes left off of my lunch break, and I'm not really going to take the time to watch this 3-minute video because no one else seems to be interested. I'll just click around and go look at some other projects that are on Indiegogo that are more interesting, that already have like thousands of backers. So clearly those must be good, right? There's no emotion there. Nothing about a campaign that has 0 backers, 0 funding, and 0 activity piques my curiosity. A campaign like this just doesn't pique anyone's curiosity at all, because clearly it's probably not that great of a product if no one's backing it, right? Or someone else might even come in and think, this is kind of odd. Why is it that no one has supported this campaign at all? Why is it that there's no funding at all whatsoever? Is it because this person isn't serious about crowdfunding? Is it because this is a really bad idea? Well, either way, I'm a good person. I don't want to be suckered into giving money or be the first person to give money to this project. So I'm just going to click away. Okay, so these are kind of 3 different things that people might talk about when they come to your page and they come to your crowdfunding page and see that there are no backers, no funding, nothing going on the actual page itself. So when there's no social proof, your mind just kind of creates different rationalizations as to why this is not a good project that deserves your time. Now, when a project does have social proof, it's very similar to a book being a bestseller, right? Or when someone says, hey, I'm an Amazon best-selling author, you're more likely than not to turn around and just see what they have to say and see what they're talking about because they have that stamp of approval by someone else already. They have that social proof. Going back to that book example, when a book is a bestseller and a lot of other people like it, you're more likely to take a second to at least read the first chapter of the book or look at the back cover just to see what it's about. Because if other people are liking that book, you probably might like it too, right? If there's 1,000 other people just talking about that book and talking about how amazing that book is, or if it's number one in the New York Times best-selling list, you're probably going to think, okay, there's some weight to that. There's something in that book that is going to potentially draw my attention in. The same thing goes with crowdfunding campaigns. If you come to a project that has lots of funding, that have a lot of people who have already backed it, and it looks really exciting because there's kind of new things and new updates all the time, and just kind of a lot of comments and a lot of things are going on the campaign itself, your curiosity just kind of gets evoked, right? You're thinking to yourself, okay, what is everyone talking about? What is this thing? And you'll be willing to watch the video. You'll start to have some more thoughts that are almost the polar opposite to what you'd have with a campaign that doesn't have any social proof, right? It's the total opposite of what we were talking about earlier. So some thoughts you might have are probably like, hey, this looks really cool. I don't know exactly if this is going to work, but I don't know exactly what this thing is, but look at all these other people. This looks like fun. I'm going to, just try throwing some money at this. And you don't feel that level of awkwardness or weirdness as you would with a campaign that has no funding. You might also think, wow, this is really neat. I didn't actually know if anything else was out there, but I'll at least take a second to read through the campaign page and watch the video because this looks kind of cool. There's a lot of other people already excited about it. So there's probably some weight to the things that they're talking about here. You're willing to spend more time and attention on this one project. So that's one way to really, really get internet strangers to be backers for your campaign, to contribute funds to your project. Have that social proof. Have those other people who will also vouch for your campaign by contributing funds to it early on and quickly, so that when strangers start coming to your page and when they start seeing your page pop up in different areas of the Indiegogo platform, of the Kickstarter platform, and they click into your page, they have a reason to stay, to look at your page, to look at your project, to look at your product, to learn more about you, because other people are excited about it too. The number one way to do this is to really, really work up your pre-launch marketing and get those people excited about your project before you launch. And then when you do launch, funneling people in to your campaign and having them back and support you and contribute funds to your project. That way you're increasing that social proof that you see on the page, that random strangers will see on your page. The second thing I want to talk about today, which is, another really simple trick to get internet strangers to really support your campaign, is kind of plays off of that first point, right? The thing I want to tell you about today is to reach your goal early. One of the best ways to really, really get people to support you is to honestly just reach your goal early, because everyone wants to support a winner. Everyone wants to support something that they know is gonna come to life. Everyone wants to support something else that other people are supporting too. They don't want to be left out. They don't want to be left behind. They want to be part of the in-group. That's why FOMO, fear of missing out, is a real thing. People want to be part of something that's bigger than themselves. And so from your point, you want to reach your goal early, because what that means is, one, people see that you are definitely going to be at least attempting to make your product. You've fully funded all the funds that you need to actually use to make this product come to life. So they believe that you're probably going to at least attempt to do it. And the second reason you want to reach your goal early is because people will see that, wow, this thing is so hot that everyone, everywhere wants to get in right now. If on day one, an hour into your launch, you've already hit your goal of $20,000, they'll see that, wow, there's a lot of people out there who really want it so much that it's only been 2 hours since this thing launched and they already have to get it. They're already pouring in and contributing so much funding to get you to your goal. And another reason is that if you actually reach your goal early, the really seasoned backers on Kickstarter, the really, pro backer on Indiegogo will know that you've actually spent time and effort into doing the whole crowdfunding thing right. They'll know that you understand the process of crowdfunding, the process of finding an audience, activating the audience, pushing your audience to your campaign, and actually having your audience support your idea through backing the project early. And if they know subconsciously that you're doing that by seeing you reach your goal early, they're going to trust you and trust the way that you run the campaign and trust the actual product itself some more, just because they know that you've done that legwork beforehand to actually reach your goal early. That's the second trick to get internet strangers to support your campaign when you do launch. Reach your goal early. The third thing I want to talk about today is also really important, right? So we talked about social proof. We talked about reaching your goal early. The third thing I want to touch on today is to get badges of honor. This is really different for each project and industry. So be sure that you do the research before you launch to see what other people in your same category has done before. Badges of honor tells the visitor who comes to your campaign that essentially you are legitimate. These badges of honors are kind of third-party respected reviewers out there who have provided you with an award or a top award or a stamp of approval somehow in the industry. Potential backers are way more likely to back a hardware tech that has received the famous CES, Consumer Electronics Show, award than one that doesn't. It provides more legitimacy and proof to your project. So another way to think about this is that the badge of honor tells people that you are trustworthy. Your product is trustworthy. It's been through a third party, non-biased review of other cool, awesome projects. And again, this is really different for each project and each category. So be sure to really look deep into your category and see what people take as badges of honor. So let's take an example. We talked about CES already. If you have a CES badge, if you're being showcased at CES, if you have an innovation award from CES, a lot of people who back tech products on Kickstarter, a lot of people who back really high-tech hardware products on Indiegogo know that this is a really coveted award and that people who get it's not a lot of people get it. A lot of people get submitted for it. A lot of people get kind of considered for it, but not a lot of people actually get it. Right. So when people see this particular award on a crowdfunding page, on a Kickstarter or Indiegogo page, whatever page it is on the website, they're more likely to trust that this thing is going to come to life. And they're more likely to trust that there is kind of a powerhouse team behind it, just because it does take a lot of effort to be noticed by these third-party reviewers. It takes a lot of time and effort to actually be considered, and actually takes a lot of time and effort to be chosen, right? You actually have to have a good product. You actually have to have a good, app that goes with it. You have to have good materials in general. And that's just talking about hardware tech. If it's for a game or for apparel, there's different badges of honor in different categories. If it's a game, maybe you've won play testing contest, or you've won a game design contest, or you've won best family game award or something in the past year that you can put onto the page itself to have people say, oh, wow, this thing has been around for a while. This thing has been considered by third-party reviewers, and this thing has, the chops to actually get a badge of honor. When you're looking at something like apparel, there's a lot of new apparel that's coming to town, right? There's things like all-in-one travel jacket. There's thermal pants, or there's all these new cool things that are coming out to the market. One way to kind of get this badge of honor is to really go to find people who are really well respected in the industry and just get their stamp of approval in a contest, in like a pitch competition, in anything at all that you can use in order to really showcase your legitimacy. And again, this is the third thing that I would really, really hope you consider for your crowdfunding campaign, because it does get, internet strangers to trust in you, to really believe that you are legitimate, your project is legitimate, your campaign is legitimate. The last thing to really consider when it comes to getting internet strangers to support your campaign is kind of simple, but also difficult in a way. It's testimonials, right? Another way to get the idea out there that a lot of people want your product, a lot of people love your product, a lot of people are excited about your product, is to just gather testimonials. It can be from everyone, from friends and family to people that are beta testing the product, who have sampled the product, who have tried the product, who have experienced the product. It can be testimonials from even people like influencers. Instead of getting like a badge of approval or like a award or a CS award like we talked about earlier, you can get a testimonial from someone who's really high up or really influential in the space. So for example, if you're trying to launch a new hiking backpack, there are a lot of people out there who are influencers in the hiking space, people who review different products and say, hey, this one is the best thing that I've seen since sliced bread. If that is a review that you get from a really, really targeted influencer and someone who's really, really trustworthy in that specific category, then heck yeah, use that testimonial on your page, because it is a way to get people to really trust in you and find you credible in the sea of everything else that's on crowdfunding, that's being launched. So there we go. We talked today about the 4 different things that you can do to get internet strangers to support your campaign. 1, get a lot of social proof for your project. 2, reach your goal early. 3, get those badges of honor. And 4, get testimonials for your project and put it everywhere you can. Those 4 things will really get people to believe in you as a business, believe in you as an entrepreneur, believe in the product, the quality of the product, the actual viability of the product, the credibility of the product, and make sure that you look legitimate in the eyes of all these strangers who are going to be coming to your page, coming to your campaign, and can potentially get interested in your project. So thank you for being with me here today. If you need a crowdfunding expert, feel free to get in touch. You can get started by heading to crushcrowdfunding.com. Lastly, I would be really grateful if you could leave a review for the podcast, because it will really help others who want to learn about crowdfunding just more easily find out about the podcast. Thank you so much for being here with me and for subscribing to the podcast and for continuing to listen and just being here with me to go on this journey to crowdfund your product and your idea. I will see you guys in the next session. Thanks for listening to the Crush Crowdfunding podcast at crushcrowdfunding.com. Tune in the same time next week for more ways to crush your launch.